everybody, and welcome on into Sidelines, and welcome back to a new semester here of Sidelines. On today's episode, we talk women's basketball, we talk track and field, and get you caught up on the both of them. Welcome back to Sidelines. Let's talk track and field as we have two members of the men's team here. Don Cook, Sean Ringgold, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
So let's talk about the last couple of weeks here as we've returned here to the desk. What have you guys noticed from these first couple of meets that have really stood out to you in 2022?
The team is definitely growing into shape. Like, we have a bunch of freshmen and a bunch of people who haven't ran track in a while, especially because of the COVID year. Like, we are really starting to come into prime shape.
Yeah, I agree with that. We're basically going into a rebuild period where, like you said, we have a whole bunch of people that are either freshmen or people that have ran track in the past and haven't ran in a couple years, and things are just really starting to come together. Like, the team is looking really amazing right now.
So actually, to touch on that, you guys as being here and seniors, what then does that do to your role to really be able to guide and show this is what we do here at Mansfield, to be that guiding force?
We're just kind of just showing them our leadership and just trying to give what we've learned over the years to them, whether it's just going through the warm-up, warming up efficiently, getting your accelerations in, just small stuff make big differences in the long run. So we're just trying to pass that on to them.
Go to the trainers. If you're injured, go to the trainers. If you feel something going wrong, go to the trainers. They're here to help, and that's what I've been trying to teach them, because that is the most important thing that I learned coming from JUCO. We didn't have trainers. Getting hurt, you just had to deal with it. Coming here, you get hurt, they'll help you, and it's a lot smoother of a transition back into track.
So let's talk about some of these first meets. Let's start with that first one of 2022. Edinburgh, that's going to be the same track and same pit that you see for
Maybe.
as of right now, that you'll see for the conference championship games or conference championship meet. What are some of the things that you take away from that, from being in that facility? Before we get to the temperature, the facility itself, is that something you guys kind of focus on, see what the feel is? How do you approach that?
Well, it's kind of hard not to address the temperature. Dress warm. Bring a blanket. It's like really, really, really cold there, so it's a little bit harder to warm up. So just dress warm. Be ready. The turns, turns are kind of sharp, so. I mean, that's what we're working on in practice and stuff like that.
Yeah. That first meet there gave us the experience that we needed to actually figure out how we're going to enter it going into conference. But the temperature is a really big factor in that, because you can't warm up ahead of time and then be sitting around for 10, 15 minutes and cool down. That's how you injure yourself. So everything just becomes a bit more serious at that facility.
And so having that transition to adaptation, really, you guys have been doing it for the last 2 years, dealing with different things. Spire, that meet gets canceled. You guys change to go to Houghton. A smaller meet, but what were some of your takeaways, and how does your mindset then change from that switch?
You're not racing people. You're racing the clock and or distance in my factor, or I'm jumping. You're not racing people, so even if you go to a smaller meet, you still need to go and perform at the best of your ability.
Yeah. Honestly, it was a bit disappointing because I really wanted to go to Spire. It would have been my first time going. But like you said, you don't run against the people, you run against the time. So regardless of where you run, you still have to go out there and perform to the best of your ability, no matter who you're running against.
So let's deep dive on that Houghton meet. And let's start with you, Sean. Your first 400 of the season. How do you feel that race went for you? It was a victory.
It was a victory. I didn't exactly run the time that I wanted to run, But I can't get too hung up on that because that was my first indoor 400 in about 3 years. Because the last time I ran it was like 2019 at CCP. So it's just taking in stride, just a learning experience again, just getting in the swing of things. So just dealing with it.
And then the 200, another there. So looking at the outdoor 200 and the indoor 200, obviously you already talked about the turns are sharper. What are the adjustments you have to make? As you said, this is the first really indoor season you've had in a couple of years to adjust to that in the 200.
I'm getting used to running those turns. It's kind of been a struggle for me so far running the turn, but I'm getting better as we keep going meet by meet. This last meet, I entered the turn in the exited and entered the turn the way I'm supposed to, and it kind of showed in my 200. I PR'd, small PR, but a PR nonetheless.
Hey, constant, steady improvement is always what you want. And then Don, Mr. Wait to the end there, make surprise. It was dramatic. It was fantastic. A victory for you. At a second place for your teammate. Having that push, you and Corey, how does that help you guys continue to improve?
Even in practice, we push each other. You know, I can't ask for much more. Like, I've been without him for 2 years now. I think it's 2 years. Not really having anybody to jump with. Kind of boring sometimes, but definitely, especially because he's a good jumper. Having him in practice, having him at competitions, like, I know that I'm not only going against everybody else, I'm also going against him. At the end of the day, we're friends, we're boys, so we're definitely going to talk smack to each other outside of the meet. So, like, just knowing, like, I have to go out there and win. I can't hear this all week until we go back in competition. So I'm definitely excited to see, like, what we're going to do at PSAC, because we're really going to shake it up.
Bragging rights for the week for you here, and really bragging rights too, because you and Corey moved to second and third all time in that gunning for that record you were telling me before we got on. So what is it going to take to get that top spot for you?
Honestly, I think Coach said it best. Coach said whoever has the last jump at PSAC is going to take it. And looking at the PSAC right now, he actually showed me yesterday, we're top 12 of the top 15 in the region, just the PSAC. So it's going to take a great jump to win it this year. So, like I said, the last jumper, that's the person who will get that record.
So looking forward this week, Cornell and the PSAC championships getting closer and closer as we go. What are some of your goals here as the season progresses, getting ready for that championship meet?
Once again, another coach thing. He said, don't be perfect. If you're perfect right now, there's no improvement. So we just improve, and then hopefully at PSAC we make it perfect.
Just keep working on the small thing, because everything adds up in the long run.
Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time, stopping by.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Sidelines continues after this. Do not go anywhere.
It's all part of Mother Nature's perfect blend, the keystone of the Keystone State. Visit Potter-Tioga, a 2-county scenic outdoor haven conveniently located, yet worlds apart. A place where you can kick back, unwind, and forget about the pressures of life. Disconnect and reconnect with your friends, family, or even yourself while surrounded by nature's beauty. So start planning your adventures today at visitpottertioga.com.
Welcome back to Sidelines. Let's continue to talk track and field, as now we have the head coach, Jamal Johnson, joining me at the desk. Coach, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you, as always.
So let's start with this season. There was that long break in between the first meet and the second meet. And we had talked previously about the adaptations behind that. But here in 2022, these first two meets, kind of back-to-back weeks, what has been the thing that has stood out to you?
I think the thing that has stood out the most is people are just learning at this point. And even though we had a meet in December, you have that first meet. It's really just to cap off our fall preparation stuff. But you have that 6-week, 7-week break in between. And, everyone's still learning at this point. I know there are a couple people, who are disappointed that they haven't qualified for the conference championship yet. But, it's still really early. A few people on the team haven't competed since 2019. We have a guy on the team who hasn't competed since 2017. And also, you have to add in the fact that a lot of people have never done a full indoor season before. So you have to, take all that stuff into consideration. I know we did really well in the fall in our fall preparation, but, competing is different. Going through a full indoor season and not being able to go through a full indoor season yet, there's still so many things to learn.
So let's talk about some of these meets. After that first one, Edinburgh was the place you went. That's right now scheduled to be the spot for the championship. How important is it to get sort of a feel for that track, especially because it's not a normal track?
No, it's not normal at all, and so it was very important for us to get that experience there. Like, no matter what the conditions were, I mean, you were there. It was easily, high 30 degrees in there. Easily. There was no heat. It was bad conditions, for a track meet, for sure. Even for outdoor, it would be considered too cold for outdoor. I don't want my sprinters running in that. But we didn't have a choice, But, getting that feel, because that track is out of lane 1, 235 meters, and then they do the distance races around in lane 4. I think it's like 250 something. So, that's in between a true oversize, which is 300 meters, and then it's, not 200 meters. So it was very important to get that experience on that track, because, the 200 starts at a different point, the 400 starts at a different point. You don't do a full 2 laps for the 400. So, yeah, it's just completely different.
And then the following week, a little change in the plans there as the Spire meet got canceled. You guys went to Houghton. Does your preparation change at all for the meets? Because the athletes said not really a track is a track, but how does your preparation change, or does it?
It changed a little bit this upcoming week, because I was really looking forward to getting to Spire. Spire is an amazing facility, amazing track. People tend to run fast at that track because it's a full 300 meters, but it's 8 lanes around the full 300 meters. And you can run faster. It's because the turns are much wider. They're not as tight. You don't have to decelerate that much in the turns from the sprint side. So yeah, I was really looking forward to that. I know it's going to be really competitive, and it changed my outlook. I mean, I guess this past week, just because we went to Houghton and it wasn't as competitive as I would have liked. But we got the conversion on Houghton's track, which is 200-meter flat track, so you get a conversion on that. But yeah, we were planning to do some relay stuff, just to sort of. We're planning to do a 4x2 so we can break the school record, but we weren't able to do that throughout the meet. We had a couple injuries, and so yeah, it wasn't what I initially hoped for.
At Houghton, though, having a lot of the young athletes you have on your team, being able to though get that first collegiate victory under their belt, how important do you think that is? For either the growth or like the psyche of a young athlete?
It's priceless. It's priceless. Even if you don't win the entire thing, being able to win your heat, it's something that a lot of people haven't been able to do. Like, I never did that as a college athlete. I only ran 1 year, but I never did that before. So it's priceless. And, like you said, the team is just so young. Being able to take that confidence, throughout the season. Like I said, it was a D3 meet, but there were still Division II schools there. And like I said, it was a good, I don't know, that being able to win those races or events were big for us.
Some of the events that I want to pull out of not a newcomer in Don Cook, but a newcomer in Corey Wharton, that long jump and a dramatic long jump that was. And it's going to be a really competitive field here in the PSAC. But having those two push each other and be right now in the top 10 of the conference and in reaching distance of that top, whoever has the best day, that is. How important do you think that is for their growth to have each other?
It has been like night and day compared to last season because, Donoven, it was pretty much just him, doing horizontal jumps last season. But not only having someone else jumping with him, but having someone he's known for so long, with him by his side. Donovan and Corey, they were at CCP together years and years ago, and then Corey decided to come here along with Ed Marshall and Dante. But yeah, having like his brother, by his side, with him throughout the entire thing, and it doesn't hurt that they're both really good. So they're really competitive, so they definitely push each other. Like Corey had sort of an off competition on Saturday. So him jumping his season best 6.80 was a huge surprise. And then they put a lot of pressure on Donovan, and Donovan just stepped up and jumped the best he's ever jumped indoor, and then jumped his best since he's been a Mansfield athlete. I love the friendly competition. Don was talking about how they love it. They like the bragging rights for the week. Yeah.
On the women's side, the three sprinters, and then we'll talk about Abigail Taylor as well. But the three newcomers and a freshman there at the sprinters, what have you seen from their growth thus far in the season?
Aaliyah is just trying everything at this point. She can be and will be really good in all three sprints. What her two best, I'm not sure just yet. I think it will be 200, 400. Obviously, throw in the 60 and 100. But we're learning, where she could have the most success within the conference. I know what she can do personally, but where can she have the most success within the conference? So we're trying to figure that out. Skylar has had hip issues for a long time, and she's finally coming back into her own. And I'm looking forward to that. She was really disappointed that she didn't qualify for conferences yet, but at the end of the day, like, her fall preparation was riddled with, not being able to practice just because, her hip. I think she missed testing or some type of test throughout the fall conditioning. So, she's still not 100% healthy. So I'm really looking forward to what she can do, get more in shape and whatnot. Nadia is still learning. She's still learning. She had a really good fall. I'm not sure fully what's going on now. I think that she maybe didn't train as well over break. I'm not sure. But Island, who is also a newcomer, she actually just moved back to campus this past Friday. So she's going to compete for the first time in 2022 this Saturday at Cornell.
And then Abigail Taylor, a freshman, has gotten those 2 collegiate wins, but in the last 2 weeks. But you said that she's jumped better than those last 2 weeks. So how do you gauge that, especially with a young athlete?
Abigail is completely unpolished. She's completely unpolished. I knew that. Seeing her jump in high school, I knew it was going to take a long time, and I told her, hey, it may not happen this year. It may not happen next year, but I truly believe you can be someone who can qualify for a national championship. And with people who are just learning something for the first time, it's gonna, take some time, for them to, consistently do it. And that's, we'll see, sparks of greatness, and then, it'll be days where it just doesn't come together. However, we did have a really good breakthrough last week at practice to where she finally saw the difference between landing heel first and landing flat. And it's going to take some time for her to be able to, put that together in a competition. But once she does, I'm really excited for that.
And so looking forward to this week, the Kane Invitational at Cornell. What are your expectations for this meet, and what are some of the things you're focusing on?
Well, my number one thing is always stay healthy. We didn't leave completely healthy this past weekend. So stay healthy. Period. It's a Division I meet, so it'll be more competitive. But we also, it's still like the middle of the season, so I'm really not expecting them to go out and win everything or be their best. However, we are going to run the 4x4 for the first time this season. I know the distance team is running a 4x8, so it'll be our first relay events of the season. We're looking forward to that. I know Carly had an amazing mile this past weekend, which is huge. I talked to her a little bit after we got back, and she said, it's a long time coming. After she got hurt last spring, she was just very eager to get back training well, and she is.
And it should be another fun weekend for you. And Coach, thank you so much for taking the time and stopping by.
Absolutely.
And Sidelines continues after this. Do not go anywhere.
Pride and passion drives the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference. From 55 NCAA championship teams, 294 individual national champs, and counting. Who's next? Make the PSAC yours. PSAC Proud is winning in athletics and in the classroom. Over 3,100 PSAC student athletes are honored as scholar athletes. It's a perfect mix of athletics and academics. It's time to make the PSAC yours.
It's all part of Mother Nature's perfect blend, the keystone of the Keystone State. Visit Potter-Tioga, a 2-county scenic outdoor haven conveniently located, yet worlds apart. A place where you can kick back, unwind, and forget about the pressures of life. Disconnect and reconnect with your friends, family, or even yourself while surrounded by nature's beauty. So start planning your adventures today at visitpottertioga.com.
Welcome back to Sidelines. Let's talk women's basketball. As joining me at the desk, we have two members of the women's basketball team here, Jasmine Hilton and Logan Nutt. Thank you both so much for stopping by.
Thank you for having us.
So let's talk about how the season has gone up to this point and start obviously with the new and a new head coach. What has been some of the things that you have noticed in Coach Senefelder that have stood out and really helped you guys grow this year?
I definitely think it's more of a mentality thing that definitely has changed. With her stepping in as late as she did and the adversity that we had to face with, just having 3 weeks, preparing for the season, and her coming from a winning program and just giving us that hope and giving us that mentality like we can win, we just got to put the work in. So that definitely stood out.
I think when she came in, she brought a lot of energy and enthusiasm, and I think that really helped us come together and get this mentality that, she came in late, we only had 3 weeks to prepare, but we've put the work in, she's put the work in, and we're ready to go. So I think she really brought us together.
And it's really kind of a unique situation, especially for you, Logan, because obviously last year being last year, and having a different coach for that, but not really getting to play, and then a new coach comes in, and it's also your first chances on the court at the collegiate level. Has that transition, have you even really put thought to that kind of transition, or how has that gone for you?
It obviously wasn't what I expected, but none of us expected that. But I think myself and I think everybody's done a really good job of being open to changes and being open to the new possibilities that could come. And I think she's done a really good job of making us all feel included, making us all feel like we're still on the same page, even if we didn't get to play last year. So I think it's been really great. I think it was great for her to step in, and I think she's done a good job of getting us ready and getting us in a place we need to be, even if we didn't compete last year.
And then similar to you, Jazz, that you have to get that chemistry back with everyone,
Yeah.
and then another starter with Logan, who you hadn't played with up until
Right.
that point. How does that chemistry? Is that something that comes quickly on the court? Do you think?
It definitely took some time to rebuild that chemistry, especially last year when we didn't even have the whole team during the COVID phase. But like again, with the help of Coach S, we had a lot of team bonding. We kind of get together sometimes, and just knowing that we have to come together in order to win games, and that's where it starts with the team chemistry.
So there have been some big wins this year, and we'll talk about some of those. The Edinburgh game, a historically really tough team in the West that you guys were able to win at home, and then Shippensburg coming in, who was predicted that top team. How much confidence and momentum does program wins like that help for the confidence and the growth of this team?
Oh man, the confidence going into the game, we were like, we want to make a statement. We were ranked number 9th preseason, so it was like, we're going against these really, really good teams, so it's like it's a still game. It's time to make a voice of, how good we are and making other teams respect us.
Yeah, I think we definitely all came in with the mentality, we had a whole year off, we have a new coach, nobody knows what to expect from us. This is our chance to come out and really show them we know what we're doing, we're not here to mess around, we're here to win games. And so far I think we've really proven ourselves and shown we've done a lot of improvement on the court, off the court, and we're not someone to mess around with. You got to come prepared.
That underdog mentality.
Absolutely.
So to speak. How do you guys kind of revel in that kind of thing, the underdog, that they don't expect what we're about to do kind of thing?
We that's like our motto. Every before pregame, like we make that statement, we kind of put it in our heads, and that's kind of giving us that energy going on the court, and it kind of just pumps us up.
Yeah, I think in the beginning of the season, that was something we definitely would talk about. We'd talk about being dogs, like the underdogs were the dogs. We're going out there, we're going hard. Right. And one of our new recent things we talk about a lot is throwing the first punch. So we're coming out swinging, we're ready to work.
So let's talk about this past Monday. Traveling down, that's the longest trip you guys made on the year. But a really good Shepherd team who you will see again at the end of the year. But what are some of your takeaways from that game? Obviously not on the side you would have wanted to be in that game, but what can you take away from a game like that?
It definitely showed us that we can compete with them. We do have some better things to do, so we won't be in a position of, going down those many points in the last minutes. But, just taking away that if we can go against that team, we can go against all these other teams that are, kind of in their ranking.
I think one of the big things that we pulled away from that game is that we play our best when we stick together. We've included some new things recently, like we start doing huddles whenever there's like a loose ball or the ball's out of bounds. So I think that game was a good example for us that, even if we didn't come out on the winning side, we play our best when we stick together and we support each other. And I think that was a big takeaway for that game.
I think there's something interesting too with your team, that there's not really you're a well-rounded team. I'll put it that way. It's anyone can have a great night at any night. How important do you think that is, truthfully, to have weapons, all 5 on the floor have the ability to be a weapon that night? How important is that going forward?
It's very important, especially with me, if I'm not playing my best, I know Logan or Paige or Kira, Sid can step up, and pick up those pieces. But it just definitely shows that we can all score, even if it's not our best night, so,
I think especially with our team this year, everybody is good at something different, and it's not all even offensive. I know Liv has come in and had some really big defensive games, and I think it's really important that we all can bring something to the table. So when I'm having an off night, Jazz, Paige, whoever's on the floor, if they're not having their best night, we know we got teammates around us who are not only going to step up and make the plays that we need, but they're also going to support us as teammates and friends, and they're going to pick us up and get us ready for the next game to come back and be better.
You mentioned defensively. You guys have prided yourself on the defensive side of the floor this year. And that's a lot of there are times where teams kind of forget about that side, but you guys pride yourself on that. How important has that been to your strategy to really grit and grind there down on the defensive side?
You know, defensively wins championships, wins playoffs games, you know. So, you know, the offense will come, but as long as we're doing what we're supposed to do defensively, which Coach S really preaches us, especially during practice, it will show in the long run, you know, and that will help us win games.
Even when you're having an off night offensively, there's always something defensively you can do. You can always do a makeup play. You can always stop your girl from scoring. So even if you're not scoring, neither is she, and that makes a big difference.
And looking at this week, Wednesday, return to the friendly confines of Decker Gym, and students are back, so the crowd will be back. Although you guys had some great support from the track team.
Yeah, we did. They were great.
But being home, and it's another really tough opponent, a team that currently is sitting at the top of the East. What are your expectations for that game on Wednesday?
Definitely with how we played against Shippensburg, even with Shepherd yesterday, you know, definitely just coming as a team. As long as we're on one page and just coming together and communicating, I feel like definitely just having that mentality, we can definitely play really, really good tomorrow.
I think coming off of our Shepherd game, when we saw we play our best when we're working together, I think we're coming in ready to support each other, ready to lift each other up. And coming off of a loss, I think we're pretty hungry for another win. We liked how it tastes, so I think we're coming in ready to get another one.
Well, absolutely looking forward to it. And thank you both so much for taking the time and stopping
Of course,
by.
thank you.
And Sidelines continues after this. Do not go anywhere.
It's all part of Mother Nature's perfect blend, the keystone of the Keystone State. Visit Potter-Tioga, a 2-county scenic outdoor haven conveniently located, yet worlds apart. A place where you can kick back, unwind, and forget about the pressures of life. Disconnect and reconnect with your friends, family, or even yourself while surrounded by nature's beauty. So start planning your adventures today at visitpottertioga.com.
That is going to do it for this show. To stay up to date on all things Mansfield Athletics, head over to GoMounties.com. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next week.